Good day everyone. In this video, we will be discussing how to analyze the financial performance of a business using a 10-column worksheet. This topic is important because it shows how accounting data moves from simple records to complete financial statements. By the end of this discussion, you will see how the worksheet helps us organize information, avoid errors, and understand whether a business is earning profit or experiencing loss. Let's begin by understanding what a 10-column worksheet is and how it is used in preparing financial statements.
Good day everyone, I am Luis Raymond Tisoy and now I'm going to discuss the 10-column worksheet. 10-column worksheet contains an adjusted trial balance, adjustments, and adjusted trial balance and statement columns. So this tool helps us to prepare accurate financial reports. And for us to get the adjusted trial balance, we're going to combine the unadjusted trial balance and the adjustments. We have our rulings here. If the amounts have the same columns, they are added. If the amounts have opposite columns, they are subtracted. Say one is debit and one is in credit column. To record their differences on adjustments, we're going to follow which amount has the greater value. So we have here in our unadjusted trial balance. So in our supplies, we have 10,000 debit and the adjustments are 4,000 credit. So we are going to subtract the two because they have opposite columns. So the bigger value is in debit, so we're going to put the amount on debit side to adjusted trial balance and apply this rule and so on and so forth. After that, we're going to extend the expenses and revenues to income statement. After we transfer the expenses and the revenues to income statement, we're going to put the amounts to know if we are loss or have profit. So the total debit is 41,000 and the credit is 72,000. So we subtract both amounts. So their differences is 31,000. So that means that we have gained profit of 31,000. After that, we're going to extend the real accounts to balance sheet. So in credit side, we have 173,000 pesos, and credit side we have 142,000 pesos. So their differences is 31,000. So that means we profit.
So now let's proceed to financial statements, which contains the income statements, balance sheet, and statement of changes in our equity. Here in our balance sheet, it's obviously that we gain a profit, since the debit side of our income statement is 41,000 and credit side is 72,000. For us to be able to see the total of both sections, we need to add the profit in debit side, so that we will get the total of both section, which is 72,000, and we gain a profit of 31,000. And let's proceed to balance sheet. Balance sheet contains all of the assets account, and in a balance sheet, the total of debit and credit is far more different, because here in the balance sheet, debit side is much more higher than the credit side, which is the debit side amounted around 173,000 and in credit side is 142,000. And in the credit side, we need to add our profit 31,000, so that we will get the total of both section, which is the debit and credit, 173,000 and 173,000 of both sides, which in debit and credit and balance sheet. And now let's proceed to a statement of changes in owner's equity. The statement of changes in owner's equity begins the capital beginning of the owner, which is 90,000, and add profit of 31,000, which is if you try to add them both, you will get 121,000. And here in a balance sheet as of December 31, cash for 50,000, accounts receivable of 30,000, supplies 6,000, 7,000, equipment of 80,000, and less accumulated depreciation of equipment 13,000. We need to minus the 13,000 to 80,000, we will get a 67,000, and total the current assets and non-current assets, we will get the 160,000. Since balance sheet is current assets and non-current assets, liabilities and non-current liabilities, and owner's equity. And let's proceed to liabilities and owner's equity. Here in liabilities, accounts payable of 25,000, salaries payable of 6,000, unearned revenue of 8,000, total liabilities of 39,000, and owner's equity, owner's capital of 121,000. And let's add the 39,000 of total liabilities and owner equity, which we will get the amount of 160,000, both liabilities and owner's equity. And the assets and the liabilities and owner equity is equal to 160,000. And that's all. Thank you very much.
So, Araico Services is financially stable and profitable for the year ended December 31, 2025, reporting a net income of 31,000. This indicates that service revenues of 72,000 sufficiently exceeded total operating expenses of 41,000 pesos. Reflecting effective expense management, salaries and utilities comprise the largest expenses, yet they remain well controlled relative to the revenue. The company shows strong liquidity with 50,000 in cash and a total of 93,000 pesos in current assets, enabling it to comfortably meet short-term obligations. Assets are largely current and productive, supporting smooth day-to-day operations. The net book value of equipment at 67,000 pesos further reflects continued investment in operational capacity. Owner's equity increased from 90,000 to 120,000 pesos, primarily due to the year's profitability. This growth demonstrates sound financial performances and effective use of capital. Meanwhile, total liabilities of 39,000 pesos are relatively low compared to total assets of 160 pesos, indicating low financial risk and a healthy capital structure. Overall, Araico Services demonstrates good profitability, strong liquidity, and prudent financial management, placing the business in a favorable position for continued operations and potential future growth. That ends our discussion. Thank you for listening and have a good day.